Hello, my name is Joseph Carlson, and this is episode 59 of The Grief of Politics. And you're probably wondering where Avin is. Listen, Avin he's had a little bit of a crazy time. He's been moving, and everybody knows that's just a nuts time. You have to, take stuff from one place and move it to the other place. And he's trying to fix the old place up. He's trying to get it on the market. When he called me last week, he had a problem with something in the new home. So he's in the middle of the process of moving. So I am here all by my lonesome. I'm going to do a solo episode, but we're going to power through it. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. This is A Grief of Politics. You can find us on YouTube. Our episodes hit at 7 in the morning, the 20th of every month. And you can write to us at gwgpodfellows@gmail.com. Drop us a line there and let us know what you think of the show, what episode you're writing to us about, so that way we can answer any questions or anything you have. And then, like I said, YouTube, 7 a.m. on the 20th of every whatever. The podcast hits those feeds at 7 a.m. as well. So if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we're on Spotify and we're on YouTube. So go to those places that I just mentioned. I'll put it in the show notes. Leave Avin and I an email. Let us know what you think. This episode today, I want to talk about presidential pardons. And here's the deal. Now, a lot of people are just going to focus on Trump pardons, which I think is the correct thing to do. Trump pardoned a lot of people. We will get into that. But I do want to talk about the Joe Biden pardons. Now, I have a big, long list here. And this is from Pew Research. They're pretty balanced, Pew. And they have a big list of all the commutations he did. He did a lot during his 4 years. It says right here that overall Biden granted 4,245 acts of clemency. Seems like a lot. The next article I'm going to show when I talk about Trump, he's already at 2,000 and he's less than a year into his second term. So 4,245 total for Joe Biden. Trump is already at 2,000 and something. Now, a lot of people, I tried to read this, Pew is very balanced, I'll say that. And I tried to go through this and pick and choose and all this, and they got charts. And if anybody's ever watched a show, you know how I feel about charts. I kind of black out for a minute. I'm not good with charts. Anyway, I think the number one thing that people really got mad with Biden is right before he left office, he decided to pardon Hunter Biden, which made a lot of people upset because it was like, why are you doing this? Hunter Biden broke the law. He was tried in court. If I remember right, they dropped the charges with Hunter, but another administration could have maybe picked them up. I know Trump's people were investigating Hunter, but it looks like they dropped the case. Anyway, it looked really bad for Hunter to get a pardon and for Biden to be a part of that and pardon his son. I was mad on being a lefty, squishy lefty. It's like, what are you doing? You're just the case got dropped. It just seems open and shut. Why are you giving this to Hunter Biden anyway, it was very frustrating. And everybody said, you don't have a leg to stand on morally. But I got to say, this is going to be a very short section on Biden. Nothing makes me more mad than for people to say that. For people to say, well, you don't have a leg to stand on. Look how corrupt Biden was, just pardoning his son for no reason. Right here, this is written by The New Yorker. It came out November 16th, so it's actually a couple days ago. I'm recording this on the 18th, by the way. But it says right here that, where was it? Maybe they don't have, maybe I didn't, maybe I lied. Anyway, somewhere in this article, it has the number of people he's pardoned. But let's just go over some of these pardons. He fired, before we get into that, he did fire the pardon attorney. Her name is in this article, and right here. I'm just going to read this part. This is from The New Yorker. This was written by Benjamin Wallace Wells, by the way. Did a great job. But Trump, in his second term, has begun to expand the pardon power both in nature and in scale. This spring, he fired Liz Oyer, a career official in charge of the pardon office, after she refused to recommend reinstating gun ownership rights to Mel Gibson. Trump then appointed a keen loyalist, Ed Martin, to lead the office. A kind of pardon economy has bloomed. In May, the Wall Street Journal reported that pardon seekers were shelling out to hire lawyers and lobbyists who tout access to those in the president's inner circle. In March, Trump pardoned an electric truck entrepreneur named Trevor Milton, who was convicted on fraud charges. The president said that Milton had been highly recommended to him by top-of-the-line people. Milton has also contributed to Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s campaign. And Martin, the lawyer, tweeted out, "No MAGA left behind." Now, the first thing Trump did when he was in office was he pardoned every single January 6th participant rioter. Now, there was talk before this. Trump's probably going to pardon these people. Is he going to pardon these people? Yes, he's probably going to pardon these people. Is he going to pardon everybody? People even ask Trump, "Trump, are you going to pardon everybody?" No. We're not going to pardon the violent. We're not going to pardon the violent ones. He pardoned everybody, and there's been case after case of some of those people. Not everyone, but there's been several stories of these people re-breaking the law in some way or another. One guy got pulled over by a police officer and had an altercation with the police officer. I believe he was killed. Someone else I just saw in the newsfeed when I was searching this article tried to solicit an underage girl, and he basically, if I understood the story correctly, basically said, like, "Hey, don't worry, we're going to get pardoned. We're all good here." Trump also pardoned George Santos, who is a disgraced Republican lawmaker who basically just in his bleat, his true soul said, "Well, you know what? George has always voted red." Now, George Santos pleaded guilty. He defrauded people in his home state, I believe New York, and took their money and is a total fraudster. Even took money from veterans, which should be troubling. But Trump totally pardoned him because he's a Republican. Now, I'll sit here and go one for one for anybody that wants to say, "Hey, Biden abused the pardon power. Look at these people. He's pre-pardoning people that haven't broke the law." I believe Biden did that with Dr. Fauci. There were some other people on that list that he pardoned. A lot of them said, "Hey, I don't want the pardon." But maybe did he, Fauci? Anyway, I'm really mad about this. I probably should have, when Avin's here, we do things by the book, but we're off book right now. All right. I just think you cannot say that Biden had this amazing level of corruption, but Trump is somehow acting wholly like within the law or the letter of the law or the feeling of the law or like within the Constitution, because he is repeatedly just pardoned his friends. In fact, I'm going to go back and search because there was another article. You're just going to watch. This is really exciting content, me live searching things. Let's see. Here we go. This is the one that really sent people crazy. There was Binance. That's a video. But there was a Binance, which is a cryptocurrency, was run by this guy named, everybody calls him CZ, but his name's Chao-Ping Zhao. He's a Chinese citizen. He created the World Liberty Fund, which is like Trump's family cryptocurrency. He made this with him with Binance, like to help them invest in it. He's invested money in the Trump campaign. He was found totally that he defrauded people. He was in jail for a few months, I believe, and Trump just pardoned him because he invested more money into Trump's. I'm trying to see if there's like, maybe I have to type in Trump pardons. Again, this is really good content when you're not finding really what you want. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't work. Here we go. Okay. I'll read this here. We just talked about Elizabeth Warren was fired, but she says like, hey, like, the intertwining of private financial benefit, foreign investment, and presidential clemency risks eroding the independence of the DOJ and blurring the line between public duty and personal interest, an issue with implications far beyond a single pardon. So right here, let's talk about this CZ guy. Changpeng Zhao, formerly known as CZ, is the founder of Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. After pleading guilty in 2023 to failing to prevent money laundering on the platform and serving a 4-month sentence, he received a presidential pardon in 2025 amid scrutiny over Binance's financial ties to a Trump-linked crypto venture. So yeah. Right here. Zhao's pardon in financial web. Zhao denied having any business relationship with the Trump family. He pleaded guilty in 2023 to failing to prevent money laundering. Now, here's the deal. That's probably going to get into here. Served a 4-month sentence. So, yeah, he was only in jail for a few months. Oyer, the pardon attorney that was let go, says, quote, Zhao was essentially allowing his company to be used as a platform to finance criminal activities, to send money to terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda, Hamas, ISIS, and he was prosecuted criminally for that. She argued that Zhao wasn't close to meeting Justice Department guidelines for pardon. Oyer said the financial circumstances surrounding the pardon were without precedent. The influence that money played in securing the pardon is unprecedented. The self-dealing aspect of the pardon in terms of benefit that is conferred on President Trump and his family and people in his inner circle is also unprecedented. This is absolutely not justice, this is corruption. CBS reported that Binance donated software to Trump Family Link World Liberty Financial, helping the firm launch a cryptocurrency. A source familiar with the arrangements said that without Zhao's involvement, the technology doesn't exist. Months later, an Emirati fund made a $2 billion investment in Binance, paid entirely in World Liberty crypto, turning the previous obscure digital currency into a major player. According to one source, it wasn't strange, it was nuts. The White House has dismissed concerns of the pardon. And Trump, in a CBS 60 Minutes interview, said, I don't know him. He said this in 60 Minutes, but he's saying this right now at a Homeland Security roundtable. He said, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. He said he was persecuted under the Biden administration, though. He also dismissed questions from reporters by saying, you don't know much about crypto, you fake news. I bet you money, the people asking him questions were probably financial people. Well, if not, they were just general news people. But, he doesn't understand crypto either. So to look at someone and say, you don't get crypto, it's like, well, you explain to me that. He wouldn't be able to. In an emailed statement, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt said neither the president nor his family have ever engaged or will ever engage in conflicts of interest, which is pretty funny statement right there. She says she's Christian, but how you can lie just so much and just whatever. That's attorneys for Zhao and Binance denied providing technical support to World Liberty, though World Liberty's lawyers acknowledged Binance supplied freely available software simply to save WLF from wasting time. Oyer has been a prominent critic of changes within the Justice Department during Trump's second term. She said she was fired in March 2025. We kind of went over this after refusing to reinstate actor Mel Gibson's gun rights. She said he had not submitted a traditional application. So he didn't really go through the process. It's like these people don't even care. In congressional testimony, Oyer described receiving word that armed U.S. Marshals were being sent to her home to deliver a warning letter regarding her testimony. I was in a car with my husband and my parents when I got the news that the officers were on their way to my house where my teenage child was home alone. Adding the deputies were called only after she acknowledged receipt of the email. She said, I will not be bullied in concealing the ongoing corruption, abuse, power at the Justice Department. Harvard Law professor Lawrence Lessig told 60 Minutes that the circumstances surrounding Zhao's pardon raise profound ethical concerns. The only reason it makes sense is to ingratiate with the president. He warned that financial entanglements between private actors and presidential interests have created a private form of corruption going on inside the executive branch. This is kind of important, what people are saying about this. And this is U.S. President Donald Trump. I can only tell you this. My sons are into it about crypto. I'm glad they're into it. It's probably a great industry, crypto. I think it's good. So that really wasn't, probably shouldn't have read that. That wasn't a big deal. I'll say this. I think, when the story of this gets told years later, something about this is going to kind of rattle. Maybe I shouldn't show the sex advice thing from Slate. Sorry, they just have a column about advice, and it's usually sex advice. Anyway, be safe out there, kids. I think when the history of this is written, when this comes out, I think this is going to be one of the things that will push people kind of over their natural, like, we all know the government's corrupt, right? We all know this kind of stuff goes on behind closed doors. But I think Trump has been so adamant about doing this out in the open that I think more and more people are kind of noticing, like, wait a minute, you can just do that? And then let's start looking into it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I understand every aspect of cryptocurrency, but if you tell me somebody gives the president money, like he invests in the president, him and his kids are investing in a business, then, that guy helps him out a bit. Then it's found out that that person commits fraud. And then the president says, well, he's donated to my campaign and stuff, I'm just going to pardon him. Most people will be like, well, that is insane. What are you talking about? You can't just do that. You're just doing that? You can do that? And I think, the Epstein file is kind of on everybody's lips and minds right now. What's going on in the news. They're going to release the Epstein files. I'm glad that comes out. I'm glad the victims got to make a statement today. That this is coming out I'm filming this on Tuesday, November 18th, when the victims did a big thing in front of, out on the, whatever. They gave a big press conference outside where they signed the bill to release the Epstein files. And they said, hey, we want this stuff out there, and that's good. But I think this is something else that every time this happens, it kind of ticks up people's kind of alert system. They kind of go, wait a minute, there was another story. Even if you don't know about the pardon, like, Biden, obviously when the Hunter Biden pardon hit, a lot of people were reading that. But I think right now what's going to happen is another pardon story is going to hit. Another pardon story is going to hit. Another pardon story is going to hit. They're already hitting. And I think the more and more this happens, people are just going to see it on their news feed. Again, even if you're not like really plugged into the news, if you're listening to this, you probably know way more than I do about this. But I think it's just going to be this kind of like Rolodex in people's mind that they're like, wait a minute. Didn't this just happen a month ago, 2 weeks ago? Wasn't it somebody else? And I think it's just going to add up in people's brains that this is not a good direction to go in. And I think it maybe not right now, but I think, there's been, Avin and I a few episodes back did that whole episode on the grift of the Trump administration. I think that needs to be talked about more. I think there is good reporting out there of like just the scale of like the amount of money that was like, just all that kind of stuff. And I think the more and more that stuff comes out and the more and more these pardons come out, people are going to feel more uneasy with it. And they're going to realize that it's not right. And even if you're a staunch conservative or you're a MAGA, you voted for Trump, you're MAGA, red hat all the day, he can't do anything wrong. I think even you will look at this and say, wait a minute, this isn't right. We wanted to drain the swamp. Why are we just opening the door to these people that clearly broke the law? Like, they went through the legal system. Many of them pleaded guilty themselves. So they knew. Maybe it wasn't advice from their lawyers, but they still said they were guilty and did something. So I think this is going to just affect people more and more, and it's just going to add up. And I think it does right now. It kind of adds to this unease that people have about what's going on with the economy, with jobs numbers, with everything that's happening in the administration. I think what's really interesting is that, that's what's gonna really break for all this kind of stuff. So again, Avin isn't here, so there's going to be a little shorter episode, but I just had to get this out of my chest because I was thinking about it more and more. These pardons aren't good for, I agree with Liz Sawyer. These are not good for our system, the DOJ, democracy in general. When you can just donate to the president's campaign fund, inauguration fund, World Liberty Financial Fund, and then he gives you a pardon, that's not good. So we will join, both of us will be back next month. We'll join you. I don't know what we're going to talk about. There's so much in the news. There's something I really want to talk about, but Maybe Avin and I will do it like a Christmas episode. It's a little dark though, so maybe we'll do something. You know what? It doesn't matter. We'll probably do it dark because we got to end the year dark. Maybe we'll come back in January and say like, "Hey, everything's great now." So thank you so much again. If you like the episode, like and subscribe. Share it with your family and friends. Again, we're on Spotify, Apple iTunes. And episode hits the 20th of every month, and 7 a.m. The YouTube video, same thing. Hits YouTube, 7 a.m., 20th of every month. And the video will eventually be downloaded to Spotify. I need to get a little bit better about that, but you have to manually upload it, and it takes a little bit of time. So, be safe out there. Turkey Day is coming up if you live in the U.S. If you don't, just enjoy a good dinner with the family. It's always good to go out and have dinner with the family. We have pre-sanctioned dinners here in the U.S. where we only go see our family once a year. I'm kidding. But if you're going to go out and you live in the United States, have a good Turkey Day. It's in like a week. So with that, I will leave everybody, and we'll see everybody again. Avin means it, really, even though he's not here. In spirit, he would want me to tell you to have a good month. I will see you guys next month.